Chief was always saying he was going to be.
He did, but there was a fire truck with lights.
Oh, there he is.
Never mind.
Back here.
Alright, well, it's 3:30, so we can call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, if you please call roll.
Councilor Cormier,
Present.
Councilor Tyrus,
Present.
Councilor Harlan.
Present. Alright, first item on the agenda is review and approval of the minutes for meeting of October 26, 2021. Councilor Tyrus.
Move that we accept the minutes of October 26, 2021 for the Public Safety Committee meeting as printed.
A second.
Got a motion by Councilor Tyrus, seconded by Councilor Gardner to accept the minutes of the meeting of October 26, 2021 as printed. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next on our agenda is department updates. Building department.
I have some handouts. Just a little rundown of where we are departmentally with permits and revenue. We're at 1,067 building permits right now. Since I started in 2015, the best we've ever done was 907. So, and last year we did 815 or so. So we're well ahead of last year. The total department revenue to date is just shy of $350,000. 45 Logan Street is coming down today. I don't know if anybody noticed that, but it's one more eyesore off the street. We've issued permits for 47 Wright Street as well as 62, 64 Park Street. Those should be coming down soon as well. We've been really busy in the zoning department with enforcement as well as zoning cases. Been relocating offices in this building. I have a meeting with Signet tomorrow for we have a panic button system in City Hall, and we want to upgrade part of the system and add some more buttons. That desk behind you being one of them. Alcohol inspections are completed with the exception of two establishments that just have to be re-inspected. Other than that, that's all taken care of. Spent a lot of time at the new school recently. The A building has got temporary heat in it. They're actually hanging drywall on there now. B and C building are being worked on to try and close them in so that they can temporary heat them. That's it. Any questions?
The re-inspections for the alcohol, is that because they failed the first time?
That's correct, yeah. And it's minor things. They have an exit light that if the battery backup isn't working, so they get to replace a battery or something like that. It's minor stuff. I expect to finish them up next week, and that'll be that.
How's the online permitting application still working well for you guys?
Yeah, it's 1,067 worth of well. The only problem is trying to keep up with the inspections now because there's a lot more than we've ever done. And
yeah.
That's the only problem.
I've used it twice and it works well.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public health.
Hello. I was just summoned to the mayor's office for a meeting, so after I read this, I'm going to excuse myself, if that's okay.
Thank you.
So just a quick update, prevention programming continues in the schools, it's going well. Our permitting is pretty much complete. Alcohol is almost 100%, pending a couple re-inspections, as Roland mentioned. Food is at 88%. Last time I ran the numbers, that means pretty much everyone has reapplied people who haven't applied, they'll get a cease and desist. Unfortunately, at the end of this month, we'll have to go placard their door and tell them they can't serve as of January 1st, but usually by the end of the month, everyone complies. Tanning's at 100% tobacco, 100% pools, body art. Most of the septic haulers and installers have completed, so we're doing pretty good with licensing. The transfer station, we just hired our part-time person as the full-time person. So now we have to, of course, post for the part-time position, never ending. As you know, we were just approved for a an additional full-time administrative coordinator for our office, which is awesome. That person will be doing the liquor licensing and miscellaneous admin duties that is much needed. We have a lot of traffic, obviously a ton of phone calls, especially now with COVID and stuff in our office, so it's good. We have a public health seminar tomorrow on hoarding, so I'm really actually looking forward to that because we do come across hoarding in the community and we haven't been offered any type of seminar on that yet, as a public health association, so I'm excited, that'll be good. And then next I just have COVID updates. So we have the CHC mobile unit here on November 16th and they were able to give out 84 vaccines. Those were mostly boosters, so that was really good. The cases right now are pretty high. Gardner's currently at 9.19. The state is 4.46 over the past 2 weeks. And these numbers are run every Thursday, so this is almost a week old, but 230 cases over the last 2 weeks when this was ran. So that's significant. The surrounding towns, I know because we have the 2 nurses that do tracing in Gardner and the 7 surrounding towns, there was about over 800 cases in this area, so significant. They were all pretty high. They were all ranging from 7, I think Templeton was the lowest with 7 up to 11, which is actually Westminster. So Gardner's kind of in the middle there with 9.19. So things that we've been trying to do, we sent out a mailer, as you know, last time I talked about it, so that went out in November to all the residents, just reminding people about the precautions to take, hand washing, don't go out if you're sick, about getting the vaccine when you're eligible, if you've had the vaccine, when you're eligible for the booster. The physician on my board, Dr. Michelle Parker, did a code red call the day before Thanksgiving, just reminding people about family gatherings and using precautions. We've increased the GETV bulletins that we send out, social media, obviously, the website. I did an interview with the Gardner News last week about how the contact tracing was ending and how kind of people now need to self-monitor if they do come down with COVID, kind of how they need to kind of let people know their own precautions they need to take with isolation and quarantine. The contact tracing collaborative, they ended on November 30th. They're no longer taking any more cases. That was the state-run contact tracing. So they've left it to local cities and towns. And as I said, we have 2 nurses in this area. Like, as you know, Gardner, we do not have a public health nurse in the health department. So we have 2 people that are doing contact tracing for 8 communities in this area. It's not even feasible. So that was kind of what the article was about. We do, as the Montechusett Public Health Network, the surrounding communities and towns, we're on this public health network, we have grant funding. We are moving forward with contact tracing. We have hired some people to do that. We've been meeting weekly with updates. We had a meeting this morning. They hope to start on the 27th of this month. So hopefully after then, we'll have more help with contact tracing again. But just the way it looks, it's kind of changing. Like, as of right now, we're kind of trying to prioritize who's being contacted. We're working a lot with daycares, school-age children, people who are at high risk, things like that, because we're inundated, we can't keep up. We try to help with phone calls when people call. Some things are too complex, A lot of healthcare providers are saying, call your board of health, or, we don't have a healthcare professional per se in our office, so it's been challenging. Currently, so my board met on Monday. They did not put a mask mandate in place at this time. However, they did write a public health advisory, which we've shared widely. I know a lot of councils have actually shared on their page, which is much appreciated. City Hall, I put it in the Gardner News, just trying to get out as much as possible. It's just reminding people as they go to indoor public spaces, large gatherings for the holidays, just encouraging the mask wearing. We put up a light sign at the little rotary behind Hannaford, so that got put up today, so that's there. And this is the advisory I put in the handout that I sent earlier. I don't know if you guys have it, but it's written there. And the last piece I have to share about COVID is that I don't know if you saw in the news, we were recently listed as one of the 102 communities to receive the tests. So Gardner is receiving 4,680 kits. There was 2 tests per kit, so it's 9,000 something. My math is terrible. So we haven't got that yet. Because unfortunately I didn't get the email right away. There was a miscommunication with the state. So I know like Athol got their shipment today. Fitchburg, we haven't got our shipment yet. Hoping tomorrow or Friday we get the shipment. I've reached out to local housing, so like Gardner Housing Authority, low income housing like the Old English Village. I've reached out to the CAC, the COA. I know we're gonna get some tests to them. Hayward Wakefield buildings. So I'm trying to reach out to like specific like low income like housing populations, elderly. And then with the rest of it, I think that's why I'm being summoned right now. We're trying to kind of come up with a plan as a municipality. And I'm out tomorrow at this conference. So we're trying to kind of figure out how to distribute those tests because we're getting a ton of phone calls now about that as well. So that's all I got. You have any questions? I know I talked really fast.
Kathy?
No, thank you for the update.
It was very thorough.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? There's a lot of information. All right, thank you.
Chief Brad?
The officers are doing an awful lot of training now as a result of police reform. It's taken a lot of their time. A lot of it comes over computer, so it's dedicated time in the station when their calls are not coming in. We're right on track with where we're supposed to be as far as our additional training is concerned, and the Mass Police Training Council standards are pretty widely noted, because of police reform. If you want any of that information, I can certainly forward you. There's probably 171 pages worth. Throughout the month of December, we are wearing our military support patches on our uniforms to support those efforts that the military constantly provide for us, and we do make donations in their behalf in our community. We're also doing what we call Double Down December. It's a spin-off of No Shave November. If you want to do another donation to keep your beard, then you can put another donation towards the fundraising that goes towards, most often it's a child battling cancer or a serious illness in the community, and the officers select somebody that's very deserving. We had our rape, aggression, defense class, our RAD class in November. It was very highly sought after. We're going to do another one in, I think they said February. They said spring, but February more than likely. See how the weather looks. The calls for service, call volume actually has a little over a 2% decrease in call volume, but the reported accidents are up almost 24%, and it's not weather related. Maybe a long period of time where people hadn't been driving. It's kind of like a new experience all over again. And there's a 7.8% decrease in arrests. So that's a good thing. Individuals are not performing crimes and getting arrested as a result of it. So the decrease in calls and the decrease in arrests are a good thing in our community. It shows that we definitely have people going in the right direction. We're currently hiring for emergency dispatchers. We're taking applications, and we fully train our dispatchers to perform all the functions that they need. As you know, they're the first responders in our city. They're the first line for providing safety to the individuals in the community calling 911 and for police, fire, and EMS as we are out on the streets. It's definitely a exciting position. If you like to have a multitasking position, it's very fulfilling for those individuals that really get into that career, because it can build skills in areas that you never even thought you need to have those skills, and they just transcend throughout your entire life. animal control. The resources at Animal Control Shelter are running just fine. You can call directly to the animal shelter if you need somebody at the shelter. There's an answer machine down there if the staff happens to be busy maintaining the shelter or caring for the animals. The animal control officers can be reached at the shelter if anybody needs to contact an animal control officer, or they can call the Gardner Police Department non-emergency number, and they can have somebody respond during the day, or if it's after hours, we can get a hold of an animal control officer if there's an emergency situation. Civil defense is gearing up, particularly with cold weather. We're more aware of individuals' needs throughout our community, and if we have to put up a shelter, all of those resources are being checked by our director to ensure that if we have to go to a shelter situation, that those resources are in line and we have the supplies that need to be dedicated. We've had a couple of small problems with the new Fords that have come out. Luckily, they're under warranty, though it's not typically. We have a lighting, electrical issue in one, and we have a transmission issue in another. They're being covered by warranty, though it's not a good start to the cars that have come out. I've expressed my concern about the Fords in the past. We've been trying to get Chevys into the fleet, except we cannot get a commitment for a Chevy because everybody's saying it's a chip problem. So we've got 3 Chevys on order. One of them actually is for animal control, and the other 2 are for us. And they just cannot give us even a production date. And we have had 2 offices in the last 6 months leave. One was going to a private business, the other to another former department of his own. So I would be asking for 2 officers to fill those positions. And if you have any questions.
That's it.
Chief, how is the health of the force doing?
We've been relatively healthy throughout this whole COVID pandemic. Recently we've had some asymptomatic individuals as a result of maybe individuals in their household that have had a positive, and our protocol says that they also have to stay out as a result. That way we're not spreading in our department. It's only a couple of individuals, very good room to be knocking on wood, and they say they don't have symptoms, so we've been very fortunate throughout this entire pandemic.
Thank you.
I have a question. Across from Dew Games, when you go down in the woods across the street, there was a homeless camp down there. And I don't see them wandering around anymore. I'm wondering, is that still down in there, or are you aware of it, or?
I haven't heard any reports of the camp being down there. We are consistently trying to provide resources. Our Father's House in Fitchburg is a fantastic resource for us to be able to get individuals out of the wooded area and into some kind of structured living environment.
Some of them prefer down there. So
They
just,
certainly
that's where
do.
they want to be, you know.
They certainly do. There are rules
Yeah.
for structured living, and
Right.
but we're constantly, going down, checking, ensure that individuals aren't harmed or are not, failing in health.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Thank you for your input. Chief Lloyd.
off with personnel. We had a recent retirement. Lieutenant Steve Roy retired effective December 11th. He served with the fire department for over 35 years. He started as a call firefighter back in 1986. Was appointed permanent firefighter in 1995 and promoted to lieutenant in 2017, where he was assigned as the Group 4 shift commander for the last few years. Awesome guy. We're going to miss him a lot. He had a lot of institutional knowledge and experience that just is hard to replace these days. So I'd like to wish him well and a long and healthy retirement. So we have 2 new recruit firefighters at the academy now. They're scheduled to graduate this Friday. It's firefighter Christopher Daphne and firefighter Jamie Henderson. They're both doing very well down there. And they will be immediately assigned to shifts to start filling vacancies as soon as they're done. And the next 2 recruits that we currently have in-house training, they are scheduled to begin next Monday, December 20th. So they're in the very next class. And graduation for that class is scheduled March 3rd of 2022. Unfortunately, we had another resignation from the fire department on December 1st. This individual is leaving the fire service to pursue other job opportunities. We are scheduling interviews right now for the next round of hiring. We have several interviews scheduled for next week right now. We currently have 4 vacancies. So with interviews commencing now, with background checks and physicals and PAT tests and everything, I think we're looking at start dates for this round of hiring probably late February, early March of next year. And we don't know what the academy start time for them would be at this point. It's been running fairly reasonable, where we can get our in-house training done before they go, and when they get back, they're ready to go and they go right on the line. So hopefully that continues. And overtime costs, of course, continue to be very high, mainly driven by the vacant positions. And we also have 1 firefighter that continues to be on long-term injury leave. The headquarters roof repair project that we've been discussing, we did get the results of the air quality tests that were conducted by Mass DPH. And we received them about a few weeks ago. There was nothing major that they indicated that there's an immediate problem. They did have, a list of repairs to do to make sure the garage space and the living space are sealed and separated so you don't have contaminants going between the two, which most of that we can probably do in-house. And of course they expressed concern about the leaking roof, and they said basically the areas that have water damage should be opened up and investigated and remediated. We're continuing to work. I've been working with the building commissioner on that. It's been tough to get contractors in to assist us with that process. Everybody's busy. And now with the winter setting in, we don't know if we're going to be able to get anything done in the short term. The South Gardner Fire Station boiler. I see on the Finance Committee agenda for tomorrow that the money order for the first phase of that is on that agenda for the mechanical engineering and plumbing design and abatement design for that. And the state boiler inspector was in the city on Tuesday. I met with him. He was looking for a status update on that project because of the failed inspection from last year. and he was pleased to hear that the project is moving forward. And he kind of said, yeah, there's not much you can do there other than to take the asbestos off and to look at it, and if you're gonna do that, the really only option is to replace it. So, as far as grants go, the fiscal year 2020 Fema Assistance to Firefighters grant, which we received the award for the fire and carbon monoxide system for headquarters. We got the environmental planning and historic preservation screening review that's required, is back, complete, and approved, so we can move forward with that. We have selected a contractor to do the install, and I'll be working with purchasing department about getting that contract sent out, and hopefully right after the first of the year we can get that all signed off and hopefully have the project completed in the spring. And I've also completed and submitted grant applications for the fiscal year 21 Assistance to Firefighters grant. That we're applying for new portable radios to replace our 13-year-old current ones that we have that are really obsolete at this point. And also we applied for the fiscal year 22 Massachusetts Firefighter Safety Equipment Grant. Under that grant we applied for new power saws, new nozzles, and a rapid intervention breathing air pack, which is a piece of equipment that would be from the same manufacturer as the SCBA upgrade that we did last year on the FEMA grant. That was not part of it. We're using an older one, so it will be updated to match the current equipment. As far as the pandemic goes for the fire department, it's been a rough month, a really rough couple of weeks here. We are doing many calls, transporting patients, either confirmed or suspected of COVID-19. As the Board of Health Director said, there's a surge in the area, and as of late, things haven't been going so well over at the fire station, as far as that goes. And a third quarter activity report for the fire department. During the months of July, August, and September, we responded to 1,354 emergency calls, conducted 209 fire prevention and code enforcement inspections. The fire department ambulance responded to 854 calls during that period and transported a total of 529 patients. And those numbers are all higher than the second quarter and the third quarter of 2020, more back to the level that we were seeing pre-pandemic. So that's all I have. Any questions?
Yeah, 2 questions. The 4 vacancies on the department, is that inclusive of the 2 that are coming in after graduation, or is that
No.
after they come in?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's an additional, currently right now, there are 4 unfilled positions. We've had 3 resignations and 1 retirement. The 2 that are going to the academy are from previous vacancies.
Gotcha. Thank you. And how are you for supplies, PPE, equipment, everything okay?
PPE is fine. Yeah. Right now, staffing is a huge issue. I have multiple members out on COVID protocol, and with the vacant positions, it's amplifying it. It's very difficult right now with their staffing the shifts.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Appreciate it.
Next on our agenda, we have item number 105, submitting applications for motor vehicle dealer licenses, Class 1, which includes Rob's Auto Service, 268 Coleman Street, Salvador Chevrolet, 442 West Broadway, Salvador Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, 442 West Broadway. Can we have a report from Chief Brax? Do you have any concerns on any of these 3 applications?
We don't have any standing issues with any of these establishments. There's no reason why the application can't proceed.
So they've been filtered throughout City Hall, they're good, in good standing with their taxes, and they've been written off.
I will entertain any motions on these applications. Counselor Tyrus?
I move that we recommend that these licenses be granted for items, item 10578, A through C, subject to all city documents, fees, taxes, and fines being paid and complete.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Tyra, second by Counselor Harder, to recommend approval of these applications to the full city council. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10579, application for licenses to buy and sell secondhand motor vehicles class 2, including Vilson Auto Sales, 119 Pearson Boulevard, Blake Motors, 412 Main Street, JPJ Automotive, 78 East Broadway, J Wood, 361 West Street, AC Auto Clinic, 411 Parker Street, Gardner 5 Auto Sales, 407 Chestnut Street, Mike's Auto, 251 East Broadway, Asagi Enterprise, 43 Toby Street, Rick's Radiator Repair Used Car Sales, 800 West Broadway, TJ and Sons Auto Sales located at 537 West Broadway, Salvador Chevrolet 249 Timpleton Boulevard, Salvador Chevrolet 421 West Broadway, and Automart at 182 West Street. Chief Brax, did you have any
Police
issues?
department has no known or existing issues that would hinder any of these applications to proceed.
And they're good on their taxes as well, they've been signed off by the treasurer's office.
I will entertain any motions with these applications. Counselor Towers?
Move we recommend that the licenses be granted for item 10579, A through N, subject to all city documents, fees, taxes, and fines being paid and complete.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Towers, second by Counselor Harder, to move to recommend approval of all applications in this item. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10580, application for licenses dealing motor vehicle junk, class 3 for Asagi Enterprises, used auto part sales, 43 Toby Street. Chief Brax.
We have no known or existing issues with this establishment that would forbid them from having their issues.
Thank you.
And they're also good with their taxes as well, they've been signed off by the treasurer's office.
Commissioner Jean, I'm sorry, I didn't ask you on any of these applications. Did you have any issues with any of
I
them?
don't have any issues with anything you brought up.
Thank you. I will entertain motions.
I make a motion to 10580 to approve application for licenses to deal in motor vehicle junk, class 3 for Asagi Enterprises LLC, used auto parts sales, 42 Toby Street. As long as all taxes, fees, and fines are in order, which they are.
Second.
Motion by Counselor Harden, second by Counselor Tyros, to recommend approval of the application for license to deal in motor vehicle junk. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. All right, we have an item that has not been presented to the council yet, but was emailed to you guys. Were you able to review it? This is the application for license to deal in motor vehicle junk. Application for license to buy and sell secondhand motor vehicles class 2 for Riverside Auto at 65 Riverside Road, as well as a class 3.
Mr. Chairman, this came in after our last meeting as a city
This
council.
did come
I
in,
got
this
it.
just came in last week.
After the December 6th city council meeting came in after. So it'll be first time on the agenda on the December 20th meeting. So it'll be a December meeting here in Martinsville.
Perfect.
So,
It's already been circulated with their taxes as well. So it's,
that said, Chief Rex, have you
And
had a chance to see
I
this?
was aware this was on the agenda, so we did check this establishment as well. There are no existing issues that would hold up this application.
We don't have an item, but I will entertain any motions on starting with class 2 license for Riverside Auto.
Yeah, I'll recommend that I'll move that we recommend the license be granted for Riverside Auto located at 65 Riverside Road to buy and sell secondhand motor vehicles.
I'll second that.
A motion by Councilor Tyros to recommend approval of the application to buy and sell secondhand motor vehicles class 2. Seconded by Councilor Gardner. Is there any discussion? Commissioner Jean, do you have any issues with,
The only question I would ask is if this is a renewal or a new license.
I believe this is a renewal.
Then I have an issue.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. And I will entertain any motions for the application to buy and sell secondhand motor vehicles class 3 for Riverside Auto.
I'll move to recommend for the license to buy and sell secondhand motor vehicles, class 3, for Riverside Auto located at 65 Riverside Road.
Second?
Motion by Councilor Harden, second by Councilor Tyros to recommend approval of the application to buy and sell secondhand motor vehicles class 3 for Riverside Auto. Any discussion on the motions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries. New business. Councilor Harden, any new business?
Just want to say thank you to all these gentlemen sitting here. Whenever I have a problem in the ward, they are always there for me and the people there. I want to thank you. Outstanding job, all that you do. Stay safe.
Well said.
And I will echo Councilor Harden's sentiments. Thank you guys for all the work you guys have been doing, as well as to the Public Health Department, where she left. You guys have all been doing excellent work on the front lines of this, and we appreciate that you guys put yourselves in the forefront of some of these things, as you are required to do for your jobs, and we thank you for your service. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilor Tyros, second by Councilor Harden to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Well done.